Hello, I am JT, an engineer with Freedom Electronics, and I am going to demonstrate how to replace the Wayne Ovation 1 PPU assemblies with the FE-UPPU. Included in the FE-UPPU box will be a quick one-page installation guide, the FE-UPPU board itself, a backlight pigtail cable, the upper bracket for installation on LX panel, the lower bracket for installation on the LX panel, a pack of plastic rivets for installation on the LX panel, and a pack of screws for installation on the LX panel. First step will be unplugging the grade select connections, the actuator and LED for all buttons present. Once your grade select buttons are disconnected, the next step will be removing the plastic rivets holding the main PPU board in place. There are 6 of them. The FE-UPPU comes with new plastic rivets, so these do not need to be salvaged. Once your plastic rivets are removed, the next step will be to remove the screw and washer holding the individual PPU boards in place. These screws and washers will be used for mounting the FE-UPPU, so they need to be saved. Once the screws and washers are removed that hold the individual PPUs in place, they will be free to unsnap from the panel. And after that, the PPU assembly, the 891569, will be free to remove from the panel. The panel is now ready for installation of the FE-UPPU. To mount the FE-UPPU on the Ovation 1 LX panel, we will start by installing the upper bracket with the standoffs facing out. The cutouts in the bracket will align with these mounting posts on the LX panel. To mount this bracket, we will use the existing screws that were used to hold the individual PPU boards in place. We will use 3 of them to mount this upper bracket. Once installed, the upper bracket should look like that, with the standoffs accessible for mounting the FE-UPPU and the cutouts in the bracket around these posts. Next, we'll be installing the lower bracket. It will slot into the channels on the face of the LX panel that the 891569 set in, and it will rest on the shelf and be mounted with the plastic rivets. Once all 6 plastic rivets are installed, the lower bracket will be mounted like so in the channels in the face of the panel, on the shelf, mounted with the plastic rivets. Once both the upper and the lower brackets are installed, we are ready to install the FE-UPPU. It will mount on the 2 standoffs on the upper bracket, and then the 2 tabs on the lower bracket. Those mounting points correspond to these mounting holes here towards the top in the middle of the FE-UPPU, and then these bottom 2 corner posts. The FE-UPPU will be installed on the panel using the provided screws. It will rest on top of the 4 mounting points, 2 on the upper bracket and 2 on the corners of the lower bracket. Once the FE-UPPU is securely fastened to the panel at the 4 mounting points, we can connect the grade select buttons. The actuator and LED connections are labeled on the board. With the grade select buttons connected, the FE-UPPU is completely installed on the Ovation 1 LX panel.